like
from.
down
Take
like
the right
Charles.
side, take
Or-
the
or
right side.
down-
Order,
We're
order,
closer to
order.
St. War, like
Okay.
closer to St. Charles.
You sure you want to sit?
It's just that there's a forum here, so we have board meeting. Roll call.
Roll call, we have 4, which needs a quorum. So we're ready to
On our agenda today, we have some old business, some new business, all kinds of monkey business. On your sheet, on the listing of minutes, we've been a bit delinquent in posting them, and there's a reason for it. It has to do with procedure, if I'm not mistaken, as it relates to minutes from board meetings versus minutes from the total owners meeting.
I can speak to the delays in getting the minutes up from last year, because we have about 5 sets of minutes that we need to get posted right away. Pardon me? I know, but I'm speaking on behalf of everybody else, because they need to have access to those to see how business is conducted. So my apologies, I had a death in the family, and I was doing hospice the first half of the year, traveling back and forth to St. Louis, and then I was kind of a little wet behind the ears on taking minutes, and the ones that I did submitted needed to be streamlined, because I was putting in too much detail, like the opinions of everybody and yada, yada, yada. It should all be factual. So I had to go to school on that a little bit, and then I went through everything rigorously and streamlined all the minutes, got all the other ones together. I submitted them to John Rivera to fill in any blanks where I didn't know when the meeting adjourned, things like that, make sure that I had, the voting down properly and all that. And so John looked at it, and he said, he filled in the blanks, and he said they're good to go, and they're in the board packet today. So we're in the position where we look at the minutes. We've had them for a couple of days now, and it should be pretty should be pretty straightforward about approving the minutes, and then John will post those right away as PDFs on the website. So my apologies, I'll take the heat for that. So there was nothing other than just life was chaotic, in addition to a wedding that followed the death in the family in hospice. So
Yeah, life happens
Yeah,
sometimes,
so-
so it gets in the way of the real important things like minutes.
and I won't let that happen again. I mean, we'll get these minutes from today reviewed and all that, and we'll get them ready to approve right away on the subsequent meetings. So.
Okay, great. And then as it relates to the annual meeting, we'll have to not approve those until,
Well, we'll talk about that in executive session. This is just a change of procedure.
Okay.
So,
right. Moving on to the treasurer report, John?
First thing, do you want to go through and approve the minutes?
I'm sorry. You've had a chance to look at them? Dorothy?
I really didn't have a chance. I'm just looking at the homeowners forum on September 16th, and I think there's some errors in regard to parking. It says unit owners can park non-commercial vehicles in the driveway on the street. Okay. Well,
John,
honestly,
you-
I haven't had time to read this, to be honest.
well, there's
Let's just pass on that, okay? I'm sorry.
Is it an item that needs to be discussed in executive session as a policy?
John had reviewed them, and he said they were accurate.
Well, I'm not saying they're accurate, I'm saying they're good to go for you guys to discuss.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve all of the minutes as is. Anyone want to second that?
Second motion.
Any discussion?
Yeah, if we indeed find errors post-haste, is there a way to amend that, John?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm going to abstain, I'm not going to vote because I have not read these.
Passes 3-0, or 3-0.
301.
Okay, motion passes.
Yes.
So So I will have these up on the portal tomorrow morning. That will encompass July 22nd's meeting, September 16th, October 27th, October 20th, November 11th, and December 18th minutes. So there will be a lot missing that will be out there tomorrow morning.
And just so you know, according to HOA regulations in Illinois, meetings, to affirm what John had shared, meeting minutes can be corrected if there's for scrivener errors and things like that that are noted, or, you know, minor corrections that were missed in the review process.
Okay.
Okay.
Treasurer's report, Jim?
Alright. So we just got financials finished for March, which is great. Operating balance, $37,353.15 with a reserve balance over at the reserve money market account at Itasca Bank, $78,227.57. With a total also other assets prepaid of about $1,865. Gives you a total asset amount of $117,846.22, which equals your equity with nothing balance or nothing required between accounts as well, which means we are fully and completely up to date on everything going back and forth between any account, which is flawless. That being said, since we're kind of early in the year, there isn't much to say about financials as we haven't spent all that much money. And really the only thing that has gone through so far is scavenger, which again, as we have planned many, many times, in July, we will be switching in order to bring that down by about, I'm spitballing, but I think it's somewhere between $8,000 and $10,000 difference from the new contract, from the current contract that we're on, which was incredibly predatory and self-renewed, and also allowed it allowed the company, scavenger company, currently to increase and as well as add fuel surcharges at a rate that they choose, which to me says no chance, no how. So again, once we are now out of that 3-year contract, which again, I had made a mistake, thought it was last year, it was actually this year, January or July, we have that in there, so I have the.
So the process of changing is in the works.
Correct, we actually voted on it last year, which we still carry over. I'd like to vote on the next meeting just for purposes, but that being said, we're gonna send the certified letter on the date in July of what exactly it says. When it's done, the certified letter is done and sitting on my desk, so it is ready to go, and then we will jump over and sign that contract, and there will be no lapse in coverage.
And then from a process standpoint, delivery of new cans versus collection of old.
New cans should be, and old cans should be picked up on the last date of service of the previous. If they leave it, that's on them. And
But we still have to find a way, we don't want cans sitting around forever.
of course, obviously, rules still apply. You can't leave it out in the driveway. Throw it in a dumpster for all I care is at that point if they don't want to do it. But the new contract states that they will have the new cans the week before the first pickup. So there should be no interruption in coverage whatsoever. But again, we'll see how it happens in August when it actually goes down. But that is how it was written as of right now, so we'll see.
Same collection day?
I'm sorry?
Same collection day?
Yes, we made sure it was the same collection. The other thing with the large expenditure was snow and salt, which came in under what we budgeted for, which is again, fingers crossed, holds out until November, December now that we're in mid-April and we don't have to spend any more till then, which gives us ample amount for next season. So again, next season for snow starts late October through December 31st for budgeting purposes. Which is why we have a large excess of money in there that has not been spent, to plan for when we do spend in October, November, December, if snow pickup is needed. Then it rolls over again in January, even though the snow pickup season will be 26/27 per week in that senior snow. So other than that, all good, everything that you need, and reserve balance is where it is. And I can also state the reserve contributions have been being made on a monthly basis and are completely updated. So all good news.
Perfect, thank you. Any questions about the report? Do we have to approve it or just move on?
No.
All right. Does that include the manager report now, John?
Manager's report is just really for me to say anything that I would have mentioned otherwise, but I'm going to say everything that I need to say as we bring it up through the unfinished business process, so there's actually nothing to add at this point.
Okay. Moving on to unfinished business on this deal. As many of you know, we have seen the first draft of reserve study. And at this point in time, Bob is asked to make a statement as it relates to the process we're going through to make sure the homeowners know where we are in the planning process.
Yeah, I just got some short bullet points for you. The reserve study inspection was done on January 12th, 2026, and it was done by John Aiello from Building Reserves, who has an architectural engineering property management background with family roots in it. He was really interesting to walk around with. Dorothy and I walked around with him, and we walked around the entire property and went up on patios and looked on roofs if we had access, or looked over the edge if we didn't have access. And he took pictures and he took notes and he explained things when we had questions. I just found him to be, I was kind of like a sponge around him because he had a lot of experience to offer. The draft report would follow, integrating all of the inspection findings, and we have received the draft report. It requires our review and conversation for potential requested changes needed for a final report that we're targeting as quickly as possible to be available by June or earlier, just for timeliness purposes, so that we can all be considering it. It requires our review and conversation for potential requested changes that are needed for a final report. There have been no other board meetings about this at all. There's been no changes to the original draft report. The kinds of things that we're going to be looking at are the assumptions correct? Like in their report, they have what the homeowner responsibilities are, but we have declarations and rules and regs that indicate what the homeowner responsibilities are. So we have to make sure that things are aligned properly. We also want to look at things like the timing of things. Are things in the proper year? Should they be spread out more because things change? Those are the things we're going to be looking at for the fine tunes. Each of us has an identical binder with the draft report, which is tabbed for easy reference, along with a letter with some considerations as we all review it. We've had the binders for at least 1 week to review and collect our thoughts and conversations today. And in executive session, we're just going to be discussing the draft report, coming up with a game plan on what particular fine tunes need to be made to this. So that's our process, and I just kind of wanted to make sure everybody was up to speed on it. So it was good to be a part of this.
One very quick note, the reason that they're being so particular about this is because we have one free revision. Any other revision after that costs money, so you want to make sure you get it right within the first week. Simple as that.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, both of you. Next item on the unfinished business is the roofing update.
Yeah, so I want to get roofing on the agenda as soon as possible because one of the major expenses that's going to be coming up is roofing. To the extent we're not sure yet, one, because we want to review the reserve study and what the architect says about what's the remaining life on all of them. And also, once we get that report, we want to pass that along to whomever we get bids for and whatever work is necessary uses that report properly in that. So I wanted to get that process started by, one, putting it on the agenda immediately so that we can make sure we follow this up at every meeting at this point. And secondly, I also wanted to get it on there because I've actually already received a proposal for roof replacement. Somebody was very antsy in order to get their name out there. We're not considering it yet, obviously. What I am going to say is they came out, unbeknownst to me, I had reached out to a couple different companies, said, hey, you guys interested? We have a reserve study. We're looking probably in the next few years to space this out over a couple of years. And a week later, I had a full proposal in my inbox. So I just want to put that out there to say we've already started this process.
So it's kind of ongoing at this point?
And it's going to be ongoing for at least a couple meetings, but it is important that we mention it on there and that not only has it started, we already have a bid in hand. So that's really all that is for that.
All right, next item is concrete repair update.
Concrete repair, we had 3 bids, we chose one of them, and when they were scheduled to do it last year, late October, they pulled the bid from us. They actually had a signed contract, they still do, and they decided they didn't want to do the work anymore. And then we found out that they fired their entire supervising team and are now back to 2 people and said, call us back in April when the weather's good. And I said, no thanks. That being said, I got 3 new bids for that. So the issue is, since then, we've now had an issue with another concrete stair issue on top of that. So what I want to present to the board tonight is a preferential possible vote. If you're up for it, I have 3, but they include both or they only include one. I would like to get apples to apples, but I also want to get this done by Monday.
And where is this concrete repair at? 340?
340 something and 333 is the other.
333 is going to be.
456, I'm sorry.
I was going to say,
Yes, it is Mary's and the one that was previously.
Okay. All right.
That being said, I have a full contract here for the lowest around $6,500. What I want to do is I want to get Mary's done immediately. So what I'm going to ask the board to do is to, just as a recommendation, do a not to exceed for this meeting so that we can get it done, weather permitting, for $2,000. And then that will cover 456, and then we can circle back on 333 when that comes and we get out this app.
Are you saying that you don't have a bid for 233?
I have a bid for all of it, it's not matching up though. So it's really hard to compare what it is.
You're not ready to present it to us? is
No,
that what you're saying?
not for both, but for
Not
Mary's,
Mary's.
we do. And that's why I'm saying I would like to get that done.
Do we need a motion on that, or? is-
Yeah, motion for not to exceed 2,000.
And this is for 456?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we give Red Brick the ability to contract for concrete services for 456, not to exceed $2,000.
Second.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Ayes have it.
So that way we can get that one done as soon as they get materials, which should be, they've already fired the plant, so concrete should already be going. So I'll give you all an update as soon as that, and I'll reach out to the homeowner as well to get that done and taken care of, and then,
Now, will that repair block her entrance off? Can she use?
For 24 hours.
steps between herself and Dave?
I don't know. Let me speak with the contractor and
Indeed.
make sure they have
Yeah,
it.
'cause
Allow it.
With her mobility is being an issue.
Good call. Yeah, for sure. I will make sure that there's, I'll work with the neighbor also to make sure that there's a.
And then we've identified the culprits in the balcony repair.
Half and half.
Okay.
For the balconies, The issue is we had done and then more damage was done, so I think it's necessary to have somebody come back out and propose, not only with what needs to be done at that point, we can also get a full bid as well, and then vote on it.
In a timely manner.
In June, I say next meeting, we should have it done.
Okay. So you'll have something for us to vote on?
Yeah, we'll have a proposal next meeting, not just a who needs what.
And a schedule.
Correct.
Parking pass update?
Parking passes, unfortunately, the person who was doing it is no longer offering the free section, which was probably too good to be true. That being said, we still have the design that Janice and I worked on through the website that we worked on, which means we can order them at any time. I believe they're about $2.99 a piece. So legitimately, at this point, it's just a board decision. We have
$2.99 or $299?
No, $2.99
Thank you.
a piece for the hang tag double-sided plastic visors.
And that is for, as I was not on the board when this became an issue last year, can you explain to me what our goal was?
The goal was to,
To keep the scum off the parking lot?
more or less, yes. A lot of people were abusing the parking lots, not only for multiple car use in the patios area, but also of the tower who was using the parking lots regularly, to where we were in constant touch of trying to figure out who owned what and whether or not the towing company should be called, etc. This is the plan to know which is which, and then at that point, we just had some around the
From
call.
a process standpoint, Jeff, I just had done a couple of cursory walks, and it seems like some of these cars are not legal.
100%.
Pardon?
100%. You're absolutely
You're
correct.
right.
Legal to us. I'm talking about legal to the state of Illinois
Oh, yeah.
and the city of Wooddale. and
Absolutely.
Wooddale residents.
You are correct.
Do a plan, a mitigation plan.
That is all included. Even if you have a parking ticket or a parking hanger, based on the rules and regulations of the, all the governing documents of the association, not just the rules and regulations, actually. We have legal rights to enforce the rules and regulations on them in multiple different ways. So if they have a tag and they're still breaking the rules, we can follow up how the rules say.
And so is there a plan in place to make sure that guests don't inadvertently get towed?
Yes, and that is the other half of those parking passes. It comes with guest passes as well. So with the order, we will get, I initially recommended with Janice, and probably we should table it since she's not here, 100 regular parking passes, which came with 50 guest passes as well, so which we would hand out to each. And then the date on the bottom section would have to be signed on those guest passes and dated, and then
By the unit owner?
by whomever is parking there, and then they have to write the unit number on there as well. And then if they're there for longer than 2 days or whatever the statute states, then we have rights at that point, so.
So the homeowner gets a certain placard.
Yes,
And if I have my sister come over from out of town for 2 or 3 days, her placard is different from mine. It's
Yes.
the thing that lay on the windshield, like you go to resorts or something like that.
exactly. So it's the same thing, it's a different color, so it's easy to
Okay.
spot a visitor and an owner, as well as the visitor section underneath has a very large blank area where it needs a date and a unit number. So
And who is to be the parking policeman?
whomever decides. So legitimately, it's something I can do, we would have to discuss. If anybody also wants to reach out to either,
My concern is we inadvertently tow a legit car. What happens then?
I mean, that's something we definitely don't.
So who's on the hook for this? Them or us?
Yeah.
That's not legitimately.
I would bring it up because when I first moved in here, my son parked on the street. They called it into the towing company. He subsequently moved the car, he came back later in the day, and they still towed him because he was in violation of an order that they didn't fulfill.
Interesting. Yeah, so for this one, what we would do is if one person would relay it to either myself or the board members, then there would be a discussion amongst them before the towing company is called. So
Is there any way that the board could know the license plates of the cars that do belong here so that we don't go reporting a car that,
If it's a
That's part of your,
visitor,
that's part of
I
your,
mean, if it's a visitor, you don't want people calling you, my
Exactly.
sister saying,
So-
okay, my brother, you don't want that.
in order to get a parking tag, we're gonna require you to tell us your
okay,
license.
I get it.
That-
that's
That's
part of it.
absolutely. And so,
So
But
make sure that
you
we
have
walk
already
this
given
through.
each homeowner so many parking.
correct,
places.
yeah, we agreed on, I'll have to look at minutes last time. I can't remember if it was 2 or 3.
Get a lot. If they're $2.99, get a lot.
So,
Check the,
I'm gonna check when we went back, exactly. I'm gonna go back and see what we actually discussed and decided on, and then we'll
I kind of definitely see what Pat is saying, you know, we don't want to just mess up, especially our own neighbors and stuff, they grandkids or somebody coming over. And it's definitely, I don't know who has the time to be parking police, as he was saying.
Sure.
So, how is this really gonna work? Or I do know and understand, we do need to make sure that somebody's not just parking a car that they're not using and leave it for 6 months. I totally understand that, you know. So, I don't know, maybe we just have to talk about this again later, I don't wanna hold up too much time.
I think the way that we had originally decided it was anybody could call our main number and report it at Red Brick anonymously and say, hey, look, or just email it to me or our inquiry email and say, I think this car is illegally parked, it's been here for 2 years, et cetera, et cetera. Then I would hand that over to the board,
Okay.
board would make the decision,
Okay.
and again, I would not recommend towing anybody unless it's late.
Okay.
Like they had a flat tire for 2 weeks, or they don't have a license plate tag for 4 years or whatever it is.
Gotcha.
If somebody's been there for a day and a half, I'm gonna recommend not to. Just simple as that.
and who's, do we have a contract with the towing company, or does the master association?
No, we personally, not personally, but we association-wise have our own individual contract with the company.
We have it.
It's over in,
And this,
Melrose.
it would have to be somebody from the board that will call the towing company.
Could be anyone,
No,
but we'll decide on a point person once we get to it.
Okay,
Down to new business.
so a regular homeowner can call, right?
Can I ask you a question?
They call in the
Next
bridge.
balcony.
Okay.
Oh, yes, we got that.
What do we say?
Oh, that's not on that one.
Oh, okay.
Report, right, that needs to know that.
All right, moving on to, we have a tax update.
Tax update is very, very simple and quick. We received the taxes back from your tax accountant. Janice was given the copy of the return. She supposedly disseminated it to everybody, signed it, and sent it back. We're just waiting for a receipt by the governing bodies, and then we're good to go for a year. So we're just getting that out there.
What does that do? It verifies that we're, who
We
we
are
are.
up to date on all taxes. We don't owe anything this year, by the way, as you would expect. So, all good.
Okay.
Simple procedure.
Next item,
Driveway and seal coating. I put that on there because we had spoken about it, but wasn't sure exactly what we wanted to do on that. However, now would be the time to
is it a
discuss.
budget item, John?
We put some in there for it. What we put on there?
3,000, I think. Ask a question.
I just want to follow up and make sure. Yep, that's it.
So we had that much budget.
Correct.
Do we have any quotes?
No, we haven't even started the process, so it was just mentioned during budgeting, and now I wanted to bring it up. Now, the budget started to be good, how do we want to proceed?
We get, I guess I'd like to get consensus from the board as to whether we need to do it this year or not. We did not do it last year, we did it 2 years ago.
And that was just seal coating.
That was just, I would have mind, yeah, I would have mind that I make a motion that we
Don't need a motion, I would just say, go get your proposals, and I got you.
Okay.
Beautiful, I'll have proposals by next meeting. For seal coating, not repairs. Okay. Awesome, I will do that.
Will you use cracks in it?
Oh, yeah, that comes, it's usually sand. Crack filling, usually goes with it. So yeah, I will make sure that that's on there.
And then the next item is bad driving experience.
Yes, so the only update I have on the mailbox is that I have been speaking with with Birchwood. They are currently looking at a new cluster, and they're going to, once they have one that they feel matches the most, they're gonna send it to me, I'll send it over to you guys to approve, and then I'll get that installed.
Okay, and then where do we stand with the bad driving?
Eventually, Amazon is gonna pay for it. However, I don't know how long.
Insurance companies,
Yeah.
I don't know how long that's gonna take,
Yeah.
and I don't know how hard they intend to fight it, so I can't give a decent answer on when we'll see that money back.
Anybody remember what we originally spent with that four-plex stuff?
It's about 1,200. Does that make sense?
I'll have to look and see.
Yeah.
The homeowners paid for the mailboxes, their own, and the association paid for the stand,
The base.
the base. I feel like it was about $1,200, but that seems awfully high.
No,
That doesn't seem good.
no. I would assume it's gonna be about double that at least now.
Oh, not the four down by the 484, 480,
The southernmost units,
the four
where-
south by the south.
Which is the regular type of mailbox like ours.
It's
No, they
four-
have-
They have four mailboxes.
Oh, the four things, okay.
And it now has, it's up by 2x4.
Okay, okay, four.
They,
I would propose that, instead of waiting for some settlement, that we give Red Brick the authority, which they already have, to spend up to $1,000 to do it.
so we already have it up to 1,500. We already have up to 15. So the plan was get that quote, have you guys look at it.
That's up to 1,500?
Yes.
So you can go ahead and do it without our approval, it would be a post-approval situation?
Mostly. I still want,
I think,
so that was the plan. I just wanted to make sure the design on your end was okay, because I want to keep it as uniform as possible.
just, what the base looks like.
Exactly.
Because we're not replacing the boxes.
Correct.
They weren't damaged.
you know, the boxes were damaged.
Some of them were,
Yeah, they have holes in the side, and some of them have holes, so rain and snow can get in there. Pardon me?
Had holes before.
But we should, I mean, we don't know what was damaged by Amazon or not, so I think we should replace the boxes for uniformity, because people don't want their
I
mail getting
totally
wet.
disagree, that's a homeowner responsibility for the boxes themselves.
All of us have to replace our own boxes.
But I'm talking about something that Amazon damaged, and they're gonna be covering the expense anyway, so we should have the boxes covered and let Amazon pay the costs. So otherwise, how are you gonna get matching boxes?
if they're a homeowner responsibility, then it would be a homeowner responsibility.
You're talking
But
about
it's
the
not
four that's
homeowner's
together.
responsibility to replace the boxes, it's Amazon, so.
Correct, but the homeowner would then have to go through Amazon, not the association.
It might be nice if we could just coordinate the whole thing instead of having
That's up to you
extra
guys.
make work.
I'm of the opinion that that's not the way it should be.
Do you agree, disagree?
Okay.
So at this point, there's no vote that's necessary since we don't have anything that it actually needs to be done. So I think we should just continue this conversation once we get the.
Moving on to unfinished business, next meeting.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just keep it as tabled for now, and it was only an update at this point anyway, since we were waiting for the ground to be decent for it to be installed anyway, because it's not what's gonna happen.
Maybe we put some pressure on Amazon to take a closer look at it.
Which we can do our best tonight to make it as
Of course, Amazon, they deliver my stuff over here to the basement, so.
Yeah, they're a big corporation, so they can delay it as long as they want.
All right, gutter cleaning update?
Simples that were there, gutter cleaning time, you want me to get bids?
Yes.
Do you want to do a not to exceed so that we can get it done ASAP?
What did we budget for? Twice?
Twice we
Twice
get.
a year.
Let me get you the exact.
And how much is
It was
it?
like about $1,500, wasn't it?
Yes. So we budgeted $4,120.
For the two.
For two times cleaning.
$2,000 this time. Which for how many units?
4120.
For 2 cleanings.
Okay. Schedule.
Do you want to do a not to exceed 2,000 then, or whatever half is?
No, because I think I can find somebody.
Fair enough.
So for, what are we talking about, the spring?
Yes.
Five additionals. Look at. That's next one. Look at it. I don't know picture.
How can we get that done as quickly as possible? Because I know,
Somebody got to speak Spanish. You got somebody speaking Spanish at your office?
Yep.
so are we sending names to,
Yes.
okay, and John will take care of it? So not to exceed 2,000 for the vendor that you find can do it.
For gutter cleaning or?
The gutter cleaning,
Gutter cleaning? Okay.
gutter
This
downspouts?
is whatever, is there a budget? Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's something we need to vote on.
Yes, it is.
I make a motion that we give Red Brick the ability to work with the vendors that they currently have access to and any that John or Crystal might give them, and make the decision to do the gutter cleaning as quickly as possible, not to exceed $2,000 for the spring.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Anything, any other business that needs to be discussed?
No.
Before turning it over. All right, I just realized on the agenda that homeowner forum got cut off, so at this point, this is where we do homeowner forum.
Oh, yeah.
So 3 minutes each.
No, I do have another thing as well.
Oh, go ahead.
As has been pointed out, we've had some erosion on the backside of some of our hills, and so I asked the Forest Preserve to take a look at some potential solutions. And I've asked if maybe, you want to speak as the Forest Preserve vet or another one?
Let me flip that. I can do both.
So go ahead.
Thanks. Thanks, everybody. Ed Stevenson, and resident here since 1999, but also part of the executive leadership for the Forest Preserve District and oversee the golf properties as well. One of these meetings, Pat had reached out and I think, again, noted the erosion and sat in this room and said, hey, Ed, while you're moving all that dirt out back for the renovation project,
There's a lot of dirt being moved out there.
there's a lot of dirt being moved out back. Do you think you could throw down some soil and some seed? And I said, wow, that sounds like an easy solution. Sounds great. This past week, took a look, actually met Pat to see specifically the areas that were being impacted. And
There's 3 main, I think.
3 main areas, and had along with me a civil engineer along with an agronomist. So we did take a look. As much as throwing down some soil and seed sounds like a great idea, on closer inspection, like nothing else, nothing's ever quite that easy. The areas where we're seeing erosion, there are a few things going on. First of all, there's shaded areas, right? We've got a hill slope coming down from those units. We've seen some of the maple trees planted along there over the years that provide some good screening, desirable screening, and continue to mature, so there's consistent shade. I think all of us have experienced that grass doesn't really grow all that well in the shade. Second of all, that grass is getting mowed through the season, so anytime you're going to have on a slope frequent mower traffic in a shaded area, your conventional bluegrass also doesn't really tolerate that very well. I think the biggest piece we're seeing is that we have another long-term deferred maintenance item, which is water. Water movement creates erosion. And what we see behind these units is that all the rainfall we get, we've had a lot of it lately, are going into the downspouts and going into getting collected in our sump pits. And where are those discharges? Well, those discharges happen to be right out back on the hillside. So I think we have probably as many different situations as we have units that are facing east along that end, where there are downspouts that terminate in different areas. I have to imagine at some point the aluminum downspouts terminated into tile. The tile was trenched down at some version of this many decades ago, down towards the bottom of the elevation and slope, and ultimately daylighted out where the water made its way down. We've seen plastic drain tile now in areas where water is popping up, and no surprise, where we actually see the erosion, we can identify the bottom of the daylight from those downspouts. So the truth is, hey, in a very neighborly fashion, although interestingly, that actual property, the property line goes all the way up about, the patios around the property. There's an encroachment arrangement that acknowledges the existence of the patios in their current state on government-owned property. So it gets a little bit tricky in that area. But clearly, where we see the erosion taking place, we've got to be as neighborly as possible for all the soil we wanted there and bluegrass seed. And it is not going to do anything but continue to slough down the hill as we keep kicking water out of our downspouts and out of our sump pits. So in terms of real solutions for the problem, temporary solution is throw soil down and watch it go away in a couple of weeks. In terms of real solutions, I think there would be multiple approaches. One consideration involves the vegetation. We see this with sand dunes, as pointed out in the conversation in the lobby and elsewhere. Plants that have deep root structures hold soil in place. So traditional lawn bluegrass doesn't have that type of root structure. Part of what holds native areas and wetlands in place is that there are native plants established with deep root structures. So that is a more organic sort of solution to this. Even those plants will not establish if there is continued constant water pressure from erosion. So the other part of the solution is one that is a repair process or a renewal process for the downspouts and the water outlets. Again, it would require a bit of taking a look unit to unit to see where the outputs are, what condition they're in. And certainly a well-planned solution would be that I think the Forest Reserve and golf course would consider actually running a drain line to the bottom of the hill to pick up water. That drain line would need to be attached to by the tile that would come from the individual downspouts units and so on. So there would need to be a bit of a joint effort. I think once that was done, we now give whatever vegetation goes there a fighting chance because it's not going to have the water pressure to erode all the time. So the window of opportunity, our plan with the project, and I appreciate Bob, you printed up copies of the concept plan. Bear in mind that is a concept plan, but as we continue on, it's small in nature. You'll see the textured green areas show some areas that are going to be native prairie areas. You're going to see taller fescues and vegetation. It's not going to be simply mowed bluegrass. We are going to have between our units and the golf course, we are seeing that fairway move over. We're creating more space, less proximity between where golf balls are flying and where units are.
Further east.
Further east, yeah. Further east, and in fact, on the south end, a little bit further south. So we are creating a little more breathing room.
Sure.
We're also buffering it as well. Some of the proximity between golf balls, golfers, and the recreation is going to be buffered by us having what we do as a forestry district. We put native vegetation in everywhere. It's been an initiative to have less and less mowed turf and keep that minimal. You're burning fuel, you're burning resources every time you mow it. Frankly, every time you're paying ad lawn to mow along that slope, there's more gas getting burned, there's more dollars getting burned every time you do that, right? And there's more contribution. So part of what I asked Pat, and I'm glad thanks for the opportunity to do it myself, was, quite honestly, we'd be happy to partner on a solution. However, the solution is not just throwing down the soil and seed. I think we found out, unfortunately, that's not going to happen.
Any way to do both?
But
While we wait for the long roots to take.
if you can guarantee it's not going to rain for the next, that's its own problem as well. There's no sense. We wouldn't do it. It's not been our approach. I'll be honest. Our organization's approach is not to put Band-Aids on and not to show things in a trickle along fashion. Kicking the can doesn't really help. The thing that I shared with Pat is that, quite honestly, if there was going to be apprehension or adverse reaction to the native taller grasses coming higher up the slope, to be determined, not my hill to die on. Quite honestly, the erosion is what it is. That's not really a golf-related or preserve-related issue right there. However, so that's fine. If ultimately the desire is bluegrass where there's bluegrass and mud and erosion where there's mud and erosion, things can persist on the way they are. That's not a problem. We got plenty of other details out there to chase. If there is a desire to, when we are planting and enhancing the native areas, to consider bringing that line up further, giving strict instructions to add line to do not mow, And in advance of that, coordinating an effort to look at how we actually do some renewal on the issues with the downspouts and the outlets for the sumps, so that we're not just throwing good money after bad collectively. We'd be willing to engage in that. So I wanted to throw that out there for the board's consideration, so that if I heard some reaction in the lobby that said, hey, who wants tall grass up there? I get it. You know, some people see beautiful native vegetation, other people say, hey, what are those weeds doing there? It's in the eye of the beholder. So we deal with that across 26,000 acres. This is a small one. Won't be offended either way that that goes, but in the interest of the solution, I wanted to give some context to the situation. So thanks for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Now as a homeowner, do you have any comments?
Yeah, sure. As a homeowner, yeah, it's you know, we see all different units with the downspouts not really performing the function that they're performing. That water, with the deterioration of the downspouts and how they're outletting, we get rains like this, you hear your sump going more and more. You're going to be replacing their sump sooner. I mean, it's not working as functions. So to me, again, the real fix is not abandoned. The real fix is to address the issues with where the water's getting moved. And from there, to have something that further blends into the adjacent golf course setting, I think that's good for property aesthetics. So that's my homework.
Thank you. And if,
And I have a question,
Yeah.
we are by the north, I guess, right?
Dominion courts.
Dominion Court, there we have like the wall of the trees. Is there a project to remove that, or it's gonna be stay?
So we went through 28 different versions. The shorter answer is no, there's not right now. As a homeowner, I'd love to see.
I love that, is it like a wall, privacy kind of thing, so? And there's
Yes.
some water
There's-
behind, so.
Sure, there is overall, there's a delineated wetland in that area. That's where water has wanted to be historically and where it wants to go. That area collects a lot of garbage. When the prevailing winds come out of the west and south, and people have not battened down their garbage, it collects in there. It's got a lot of invasive buckthorn in there, so it's ecologically, I know it's a nice wall, ecologically it is not in great shape.
It is pro and cons, I would say.
But that's
For
all
me, it's
forced
like
under
the
the-
privacy, but also there's a lot of bugs because it's been garbage.
Sorry?
So are you doing something there or not?
I'm sorry if you didn't hear that. We're not doing that.
You're not doing anything?
No.
How about our large trees behind us? Are they going to remain there?
The trees that were close to where the split rail fence was?
Where the great,
Those
where the
remain there.
fence was, they're going to remain.
So you can have more trees, right?
No.
Oh,
That was my question.
So,
We
well,
are-
they're still there.
Okay.
Yeah, no, those trees are dead.
nobody's be like Mr. T and cut them all
Will you
down.
plant more trees there?
We will be planting more trees in that area if there's, that's a good question, Brian. Do you think there's a need for it?
No. There's some big gaps there. And I think it gives us a little bit of privacy, and particularly since the fence is gone. It would be nice to have some.
Yeah, I think would make sense, Dorothy, is once the buffer and that natural area has a chance to establish itself. And we plant literally thousands of trees every year, so we have options to come in the summer.
So there's a standard of how far those trees need to be apart from each other, so a good system, so.
Sure, there's the bottom line is they can show each other.
Right.
At the same time, Dorothy, back to the beginning of the conversation, we have the great benefit of those trees having matured. We now have the fact that they are creating shade. The shade is preventing the grass from growing. So
I
it's
understand.
full circle of push one side of the balloon, the other pops out.
It kind of gives us a little sense of dividing between the trees.
I think that I think that the continued vegetative growth and naturalization there will do that even more so. So we'll do it in a pretty natural way.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Now, the more formal homeowners forum can start. Bryce?
Allowing the grasses to grow up the berm, whatever you want to call it, addresses two things. One, it reduces erosion for it, and you can use it as a way to reduce the ad valorem contract value. There's several thousand feet of grass that they're mowing there every week. So you can reduce our ongoing costs there as well.
Or
The second thing I would say, if we get down the road and talking to DuPage County, I think you're gonna find a mishmash of situations out there. I know that in the quad that I live in, my sump pump carries the burden of all 4 units because our whole building's cocked just enough. And if mine fails, then my neighbors flood as well. So, the good news is that we've got one pipe that basically covers our entire building. That's probably not gonna be the case on adjacent quads down the way. So, to get into this, you're gonna have to really do some work on identifying exactly what needs to be done.
Yes.
Because you might want to do too much or too little.
Anything with this, we would do with a qualified engineer.
Perfect.
And an architect as well, because that is not only a very graded area, which is the biggest issue for any sort of landscaping reconstruction, but also because of the trees that are already there. As you said, we would not do anything without an arborist, without a structural engineer, and possibly an architect as well, because we would not want to mess up anything that has to do with your unit in and of itself, while still maintaining that water exiting. Keeping the grade enough to where it flows away from the house, but also not to where it puts so much stress on your foundations, your sump, and everything else, to where we would say, experts, this is on you guys, please give us what we need.
Glad to hear that. I would just add that these experts need to be interviewing people like me that have lived in my unit for 25 years and understand the idiosyncrasies of our units.
I think any proper engineer would agree with you 100% on that. And on top of that, I think it would be on top of everybody's wish list in order to make sure that not only every individual unit is covered, but as you said, there is no proper solution that covers every single unit back there. It's going to be an individual one, and for each and every single part of it, which is why that structural engineer is going to come in there, and they're going to need to interview everyone, period, not just you.
John, if I may, I mean, part of that is that overall, over the years, people have done, in many ways, whatever they wanted on those decks. So they have altered what was probably the original design of how the downspouts work.
100%. And you can see
There
that.
are some you cannot identify, you can't see them disappear in the ground, don't know where they go. The other thing that's happened is cable TV's come along, you've got Comcast, we've already had existing ComEd lines, so there's some utilities above all else to be considered. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, there is a project that honestly was a community joy project to say, hey, we are going to take care of renewing our deteriorated infrastructure on the water management piece. Once that's done, I think we have some nice options on the vegetative.
100% agree.
Absolutely.
I'll continue one more thing. Regarding the Azure study, why wasn't the owner responsibility listing given to the engineer when he was awarded the contract?
It was. A lot of it's copy and pasted to where they go through and make us do part of the work. They received from me personally the declarations and bylaws, rules and regulations,
Sure.
a plat map. Probably those were the 3 main things, but I feel like there were more. Whether or not they actually included that in the first draft is what the reason we have the review process for. Because they didn't, we're going and making sure that they're actually putting it through there. So the fact of the matter is, they got everything that they needed.
I see.
We're just following up and making sure everything is done correctly so that we don't have to go back and get
No,
charged.
I understand all that, so I'm asking the question.
That's all, man.
Yeah, the other part of that question is, why does the sequencing of these repairs need to be discussed in executive session?
I don't think the actual sequencing.
That's what Bob referred to, yeah. The sequencing of these needs to be spoken to in executive
I'm
session.
trying to understand what the sequencing input was, Bryce. Until we understand that, then.
I mean, why can't that be discussed in open meeting?
It just can't.
It can't, why?
Because it has to do with the vendor and whether we intend to go forward with that vendor.
With that vendor, what vendor?
Reserves.
Is there, did we already give him the contract? The engineer, did we give him the contract, award the contract?
Product. Now we're reviewing the product to go back to them to ask them to perhaps make some changes. That the board, we live here, maybe we have a better feel for some of the things that they put in order as opposed to what they put.
So you have a better feel than the engineer whose job it is, and is licensed with it.
All right,
I just want to understand what the thought process is.
I
understand what you're saying, but the problem is, what they're not discussing is what actual work is gonna be done. What they're discussing is the report of how it's laid out, and there's nothing else to that. No decision is gonna be made, which means that they can do it in executive session. Anything else is not for debate.
That's not what Bob said when he
I
had his.
understand that's not what Bob
That's what
said,
he
but
said.
that's what is being said now, and that's the end of it.
So which is, Mr. President, which is Bob right or is
You don't have to
John
answer.
right?
Right.
You do not have to answer.
Right, so all I'm gonna say, I'm gonna answer, you know, some
He can
transparency.
speak for himself, come on.
Yeah. You know, about the sequencing of things, if they said that we're gonna replace all the roofs in 1 year, that may not be the case of what's needed, because there may be some roofs that are deteriorating faster because of the exposure of the sun and the wind than others that are in the shade. So some of the things we want to look at is how do things, you know, the sequence of, there are some things you might want to spread out over time as opposed to all done in 1 year. So we're just trying to doing a little bit of a critical review of how they sequence things out. The other thing you need to know is that they've given us a 30-year plan, a 30-year look into the future. But our responsibility is really to look at the next 5 years or so until the next reserve study. So we're going to be focusing efforts on some of these things. The other thing I wanted to build on with the responsibility list is that we have a short list in our rules and regs. If you're familiar with that, it's on
Yeah, Ron.
56 or 57. In the reserve study, they have one that's almost 3 times longer because they're very specific about things, like paint on these different categories. So they're much more specific about owner responsibility, so we have to kind of take a look at that. How does that relate to our rules and regs?
So-
Just
so-
make sure it's accurate.
So regarding your statement regarding some work to be done maybe initially, then others in phase 2, phase 3, et cetera, does the reserve study actually specify per unit address? Does he assign a condition rating to each of those so that we understand which of those, which is going in the first set? Because that wasn't the part of any of the reserve study I've ever seen. I mean, great for work, but
It doesn't say specifically which units get to have things done before the others.
Part of what happened was pictures were taken of about every unit, so there's a lot of detail in there about what's deteriorating, what needs work, what's the life, etc. And what are high priority items, what are medium, what are low priority items. It's very specific, so.
So he was taking a picture of the roofs. Did he have a
uh,
drone with him? Was he taking a picture
There
of
are
the
some-
drone?
yeah, there are
Or
some
How was he
pictures.
capturing these pictures to assess the condition of each of our roofs?
You'll see in the report. You'll see,
Interesting.
pictures were taken.
I've just never heard this before. And I've been doing this a long time.
Okay.
So again, that goes back to sequencing. Who decides who is part of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, et cetera? Who decides? And how do you back that decision? How do you arrive at the decision? That's all.
That's part of the process that we're gonna go
Part of
through.
the process.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I look forward to your response when we ask you the same question when we meet again.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'll get you.
I have just 2 things. One, I would like some clarification on the balcony repair update. I wasn't clear on how that was going to be handled. And then secondly is on the driveway repair. And, you mentioned we're going to do seal coating, but what if there's actual damage in the driveway? In other words, there's an asphalt in front of our garage that is gone, so there's like a pothole, more or less. So I just want to understand those 2 items.
Both of those have the same answer, basically, in that we're gonna go and get proposals to establish what needs what, and then come back with it, and make sure that it is all taken care of for what is needed. If there's any patching that's gonna be on there for our driveway or anything like that, they will not seal coat unless they patch it first, so that would be included as well. Anything that needs to be done, if in order to be seal coated, everything up to and including that seal coating will be on there. So it should be taken care of as what you're looking for. Balconies is the exact same thing. They're having the vendor go out there and he's gonna go rate and give us a detailed breakdown of every single tiny little repair per balcony that needs to be made, and then we'll do it within whatever they were suggesting.
Okay, so unit by unit, correct?
Yeah, 100% yes.
That's clarification.
Thanks, Jeff.
Not a problem.
Can we introduce Jeff and Krista to the
Oh.
rest of the homes? Jeff and Krista are our new neighbors
Hi,
at
Jeff.
351.
I'm
Jeff and
with
Krista. Jeff
Unit
and Krista.
351.
Yes.
Hello, Ms. Krista.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Elmhurst, go Elmhurst.
They were telling us college.
Hi.
I have a question, piggyback with the park district. Now, on my side, you know, we have big trees and everything that's part of the golf course. Who's the one who's supposed to clean it out? Because as I was walking my dog the other day, I noticed somebody threw some furniture up in there. Yeah.
In the buffer zone on the other side of the street.
Yeah,
On the inside of the trees.
Yeah, on the inside of the
The inside of
tree.
the trees.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
By our,
yeah, by us. I
Really?
saw it the other day, yeah. So is that park district's responsibility?
Forest Reserve
Forest
District.
Reserve.
Sure, yeah, ideally, if we're gonna find out who did it, we're gonna take them. Right, but,
Yeah.
no, in general, I mean,
Just I looked up in there and I'm like, what is this?
you're not gonna see it soon. There's gonna be green over there.
if there's flies, there's an Apple citizen reporter that brought that, we have 60 properties, 26,000 acres.
Well, I just saw it the other day, I don't know how long it's been there.
Hey, Crystal, here's what I suggest. Call the hotline, make the complaint, and let. Yeah, no, not for force, but for our hotline, Red Bird. And then they can coordinate with the park district, see if they're gonna, see if they're gonna do anything to let it ride. I don't think they're gonna let it ride, but
No,
there's an investigative process. You can
That's
probably
not
take
my
days.
furniture. We'll see. Pat, it sounds like your name tag might be on there.
Can I make my request for my patio renewal, like the courtyard?
Yeah, where? I can take it,
Yeah,
whatever.
you know, I'm waiting for the insurance.
Okay,
They're supposed to send it to me
got it, I'll
today.
put it on file for you.
Yeah, because my patio wooden deck is just rotten and terrible.
Yep, no problem.
Change it. So it's gonna be just simple stamped concrete.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I'm teasing. No, there's no need to call. I'll let somebody.
Oh, okay,
So, no,
appreciate it.
we'll save you that, thank you.
Yep, nice to meet you. Thanks.
Anybody else?
How many cars can a unit park in one of the common element parking lots?
Check the rules and regulations.
I'm down up here to speak.
Cool, then watch ask.
Because you guys, excuse me?
It seems like an obvious question if you have the answer.
No, because you guys are over here saying we're gonna have X amount of parking,
Correct, we'll do it.
parking placards made, and you're gonna distribute them based on what?
Based on the rules and regulations.
And so, it doesn't speak to the amount here.
As per the rules and regulations.
So then why are we making placards? Then why are we making placards?
If I can remember, they
So-
said we were gonna give each homeowner 5, right?
We answered that question already. We'll go
We
back
said
and.
5.
Okay, so
There's so many
talking about the parking, like per rules and regulation, each unit has driveway in front of garage and one and garage parking, right?
Yes.
And do you know that my parking is like half, I can park
Yes.
half car? So where's my extra spot? I need extra spot, I just need to, in front of my house, have like Anya Wojcicki spot, because I don't have, I just have half driveway. And per rules and regulations, I'm supposed to have what I can park there.
Right.
Half of my car, so the back of my car is gonna be standing on the street,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
you know?
You have a unique situation.
I have a unique situation and, you know.
I don't think we can build you a bigger parking lot.
Okay, I have idea.
Uh-oh.
There's like I have idea. There's like some bushes in front of my house, like ugly bushes growing. Can we remove that and put the concrete, and that would be parking spot for me?
It's a possibility. We'll discuss.
That's a common area.
That's a
Yeah,
common
it's not
area,
garage.
but when I'm gonna have contractor to do my concrete on my courtyard, we can easily do this at the same time. And I'm willing to pay for the concrete, if you agree with that.
It's something we should definitely discuss.
If you, because you know what, I'm gonna have a contractor with the huge, like, the, what they call the.
Tell you what, when you
thing.
send me the certificate of insurance,
Yeah,
send me over the quote that you're also getting, and I'll pass that along, and
Yeah.
then we'll see what we can come up with.
you know what I mean?
I know.
There's like the huge,
The
like
plants,
the plants, like the
I
grass or
love your
something.
plants, I love those plants.
Oh, no, that's.
Just like you said.
They're
I'm just
not,
saying
they're
what's
not,
going on.
it has to be replaced. But it's easily, we can add, because this is the, there is a concrete, and we can just add the part of the concrete, and that would be easily like the parking spot for me.
Would you still have to do
And
parallel?
like I said, like I have contractor,
Yeah,
who's gonna
let's-
come,
let's
who's
take a
gonna
look at
come,
that.
they
Yeah,
should
we'll
do
have to-
the
there's-
concrete work.
There's no answer we'll have tonight.
So it's not gonna take a lot of more extra work, they will have to prepare
The footage.
the base,
Yeah,
put
send
the
it-
gravel and all
Because
this
they're gonna
stuff.
send over like a blueprint also and stuff, right?
What do you mean?
Like of what they're gonna cover.
Like a drawing.
A
Yeah, yeah.
diagram.
Oh, do you
Yeah,
have the
With the
drawing?
measurements on what they're doing, right?
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
I will
send that
ask
over to
them.
me.
They measure,
Yeah, exactly.
it's
So
just,
make sure I have a copy of that. I'll put that with this and.
And that was actually my
certificate of
husband's
insurance.
idea, and he's like, hey, let's remove this. I'm like, I don't think it's possible.
It's definitely worth the discussion.
But it's maybe that's idea.
But it doesn't hurt to ask, does it?
Definitely not. No, it's something we can absolutely discuss.
Okay.
Like I said, it's gonna be like extra couple $100, and I can cover the cost of concrete. If you guys agree that we can do it.
Send it and let John
Okay.
give it to us and.
Because I have just
see what we think.
half a
Half
driveway.
driveway.
Just a half driveway. And guys around me, they have more than one spot. And that's not fair.
You can park by me.
Oh, really? I'm gonna park tomorrow.
Different, dog got a nice space, dog
A
got a nice
question about the
space.
parking, if I could make one comment about it. The parking lot down by us always has spots on it. I've never seen it full. Have you? The parking by us? I mean,
It's getting more full.
okay, it might be getting more full, and maybe there are a couple things that need to be addressed, but, I mean, for me, the only time I would use that lot is if I'm having a party or something, and I'm gonna need, you know, yes, that might happen once every 2 years, but, you know, maybe a little bit more, but I just don't see it, parking, getting into this could be such a hassle. I mean, unless we have a problem, but if you know and can identify cars that are breaking the rules, then get them towed.
And
Thanks,
that's,
Norm.
it's to, and the reason for the passes is to identify cars that don't have passes so they can be towed. Right now, we don't have a way.
Well, I was hearing that a lot of cars were suspicious and that people have been around and it seemed that they weren't even legal or whatever, so. I don't know, I guess I'm just thinking you're gonna make it more complicated than it needs to be.
Well, let me ask this question about the parking passes. If somebody's having a party for the day, it seems like they should park, but looking like if you need a pass, if I got somebody maybe staying 2 or 3 nights, and there's no parking on my street, because sometimes they be having church and we don't have a place to park.
Yes,
So they-
sometimes it's
Yeah,
very crowded,
it's just bad
and you
over
know,
there
like
last
if I have
night. Yeah,
just
they
like
have church service and we have no place to
one
park.
spot and one and a half,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's.
So I think if it's a party, somebody that's for a couple of hours, seems like to me that should be okay, because who's gonna be running around? Oh, look at those license plates.
And the condo people can park
The
by us.
policeman will.
I think for, well, we've had cars that have parked there for literally weeks and not moved. And the purpose is to find out, are these somebody's guests, or is this an owner? And we don't have any way of doing that.
Yeah,
So if
last year we
everybody
had
has
like
a
thousands of
owner,
cars
owner
staying
pass
like
or
for
guest
over a
pass,
month.
then we'll know, okay,
Yeah.
this is your car.
Mhm.
We're not gonna bother it. It's to identify people who are parking there who don't belong in the area, who don't belong to our association.
And they're
And
parking there a long
particularly the
time.
ones that park for like 6, 8 weeks and the car never moves.
Yeah.
Well, if that happens, why would you be afraid to tow it?
Definitely
Because we
not.
don't know
That's
who
the
it belongs to.
So
So
what?
at least we wanna
So
find
what?
out.
If
What
somebody
somebody
leaves
wants
their
to-
car somewhere for 6 to 8 months, and you don't think,
Okay, but what if
It's
it's,
legit.
what if it's my son who's done that?
well, then, you know better.
No, I don't know. He's allowed to park there for how long he wants.
And never move his
Because
car
it's a
and never
gas.
notify anybody that,
Yeah,
Because I know my neighbors park their car regularly, and sometimes we park an extra car in that lot.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure we gave our license plate numbers and makes and models of cars when we moved in.
I think we did have to do
Part of the
that.
registration.
Part of the registration. So I don't know, I know when
And
we
then
added a
this-
third car, I did report
So
it.
you're saying you think we're solving a problem that doesn't exist?
To some extent, yes.
Well, the
Well,
north
no,
parking lot is full almost all the time.
The one closest to the
North
exit.
one. We have two, one by you and the other one.
Okay, so the other one is full all the.
The other one is full almost all the time. It never used to be.
Brittany, the one by us, I understand, I mean, so homeowners have registered their vehicles, right? I happen to have 2 college-age daughters, I have 4 vehicles, so they're all registered. Anytime, I mean, a limited time in 27 years, I've had someone leave a vehicle with me for a week or so. I reported that plate, and the process, I reported it so that if the police were around, and someone said, hey, what's this car, it's been here 6 days, great, the association and the board have been aware that license plate XYZ123 was reported and is here from date A to date C. So I was unaware that, otherwise, cars that are not even registered and have this extended stay, the point of solving a problem that is making us looking for a solution, I just wonder if we're creating a new one, because now by omission, a registered car doesn't show the placard, the immediate suspicion is there that it shouldn't. I thought there was a process in place, I thought it worked really well, I think if we applied that process, wouldn't it still screen out those cars that are the ones that are, they're way too long and are clearly out of bounds to be triggering what would be a jump?
We could also maybe get some stickers or
Now,
something.
now it's even more difficult because Woodale doesn't have car stickers anymore.
Who doesn't?
Woodale eliminated their car sticker.
Oh, no, I just know, as the
Oh, that's
HOA could
oh,
have
okay.
something that says, please call your vehicle into our Red Brook and report it, or it will be towed.
Oh, boy.
What's that?
It seems like it's just more work, like you were saying, the other stuff. I guess a lot of this placard stuff just really still needs to be discussed. Because we don't want anybody's car that's been here 6 weeks, 6 months now.
I think it's worth just making sure we're always considering license plates that are registered for and placard. Just because it doesn't have a placard shouldn't be penalized if they're a registered license plate with record. So we just need to think this through, just make sure it's really clear.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alrighty. There's no more questions from the audience. I'd like to adjourn the meeting. Yes. Executive session.
I make a motion that, board meeting